When I sat down to make this video, I wanted to build the most amazingly beautiful Linux configuration for all of you, where all the colors matched perfect and everything looked cohesive, and I mean, I did. Here, check this out. You see, this right here is a gorgeous Hyprland config. I have an amazing set of tools that all look beautiful together. My lock screen is gorgeous and it just fades in and out super nicely. We have our terminal set up so nice. We have our GTK apps are even actually themed and looking really good. Like if I open Nautilus right here, like this looks really nice. And overall, this has a great feel and look to it. But you see, what you don't see here is the struggle it took to make this configuration happen. So today, I really quickly just want to go over the horrible world of ricing your Linux distro. Let's get into it. Now, not all Linux setups are like mine here. You see, there are many different ways to use Linux, which is part of what makes it so great. Some people just enjoy using an out-of-the-box experience with a Linux desktop environment like GNOME or KDE. And these desktop environments, they give you pretty much all the tools out of the box that you would need on a day-to-day basis. So when you look at GNOME, actually, this is a GNOME instance right here, you get everything you need out of the box. Like I said, you have a web browser, you have a calendar, you have your file manager, and you even have a text editor right here. And all of these tools are all coherent and they all work together and everything kind of looks the same. Not to mention, you get a lot of great tooling like network management, idling your system and locking your system. All of these things just come with the experience of GNOME. They all come out of the box. And with GNOME, all you have to do is maybe change like a theme or like just one little toggle and you can switch between dark mode and light mode. And that's really all the configuration that you need for a system like this. But some people like myself like to use Linux in a slightly different way. You see, for me, for instance, I only really use Linux because I love tiling window managers. Being able to quickly flip through all my windows, my tabs, and my workspaces with just one or two key presses, it keeps me in the flow state, and it's just an amazing feeling. Check this out. By just hitting Super Enter, I open up my terminal, and then I can hit Super Space to open up an application launcher, and then I can open up Chrome. And this opens up in a new tile that takes up exactly half the space between this whole entire screen, which is fantastic. I can then switch to another workspace really fast and open up another program like my file browser, let's just say. So now I have all of these windows open and I can flip through all of them really easily. And it's super easy and fun, and I just enjoy doing it. It's just an amazing workflow for me. But tiling window managers come with a problem. You see, a tiling window manager is just that. It's just a window manager. When you install a tiling window manager like i3 or Hyprland, which is what I'm using here, it doesn't come with anything extra out of the box. It is just the window management system. Typically speaking, you don't even get an application launcher or a terminal or literally anything that's nice to have, really. Think of the things you would need, like a lock screen or system idling or any of those things. Now, overall, a tiling window manager being this minimal is a good thing, I think, right? You should be able to build your configuration around the core concept of just one thing, like a tiling window manager. But you see, there's a problem here. Some people, including myself, like to have things look and act nicely. If I'm using a tiling window manager, I don't want to be hamstrung by a complete lack of aesthetics. I want nice tooling and I want my tooling to look pretty good. Now, to get good tooling and decent aesthetics, which is what you see right here in my Hyprland system, you need to build a configuration and you have to what's called rice your system. By the way, gang, this video, along with many of the others we've done on YouTube, all exist on another platform we created called learn.typecraft.dev. It has amazing content. If you love what we're doing here on YouTube, then check it out. We actually just created a whole course on Hyprland with part 3 coming soon. You can check it out here. We have tons of great tutorials. We have this whole entire course on Hyprland. We have tons of cool stuff. And we even have some exclusive things that you can't even find on YouTube. If you want to support this channel and you like what we're doing, then check out learn.typecraft.dev. Okay, let's get back to talking about ricing Linux configs. Now, ricing is just a term that basically means installing tools and customizing things in your system to look a certain way. This term, ricing, by the way, originated from the car racing community when people wanted to put modifications on their Honda Civics to make them look more interesting and like maybe have a little bit better performance. So ultimately, the term ricing you could thank Vin Diesel and Fast and Furious for. But I have a problem when it comes to ricing configurations in the modern era. And to explain the issue we have with ricing, let's show off the config I made and explain what every tool needs in order to be riced. It's way more complicated than I think it actually needs to be. Okay, so for here, I actually just took a quick screenshot of my configuration in action to sort of show off all the tools I installed and all of the ways that I made them look good so that I could rice them, make them look nice. Now keep in mind here, with all this configuration, I actually had a little bit of an advantage. You see, I started with a color scheme that I already loved that had a lot of ports to a lot of these tools already. That color scheme is called catppuccin. Now, catppuccin is awesome and it has pretty much a port for almost everything. I say almost because we're going to get to it really soon. But let's show off with catppuccin how we configured this whole entire system here. Now we'll start from the top and work our way down. Now at the very top here we have a status bar called Waybar. Now this is an amazing status bar tool and it's very well used and very well documented. A lot of people love it. And to configure Waybar, let's just write Waybar right here. To configure Waybar, you need something in your .config/Waybar directory, and configuring Waybar takes 2 files typically at least. We have a Waybar config, which is a JSON-C file, right? It's JSON, right? It's not that hard to understand, but also you can use a CSS file to import colors. Now, of course, catppuccin has a way to import colors to Waybar. There's a link that I'll show in the description below, and that made things a little bit easier, but just keep this in mind. Waybar takes JSON-C and CSS to import colors and styles. And really quick, if we want to look at our Waybar configuration, we can see it right here. It is in config Waybar config.jsonc. So this is our Waybar configuration. It has modules. It looks pretty good. I'm going to get into more depth in this in another video, but just so you can see, this is our JSON-C Waybar configuration. Next on the list is another tool that you have to install because it doesn't come out of the box. This is a notification daemon right here. The thing that says that I took a screenshot. I made sure to save this screenshot with this on the screen because I wanted to show off this tool. It's an amazing tool. It's called Sway NC, and I love Sway NC. I love it so much, in fact, that I actually haven't even had to configure it. Sway NC looks fantastic out of the box, but it's another tool that you're going to have to install if you're trying to rice a Hyprland installation to make it look nice and coherent like mine does right here. Next up in the middle here, we have a very popular tool that you would absolutely need for any Linux configuration, and that is an application launcher, okay? So I'm going to go over here with that. So now this app launcher is called Wofie. Now Wofie is really cool. I've seen it used pretty much all over the place, but the problem with Wofie is that the configuration for it is an absolute disaster. I mean, it's a mess. Documentation wise, I have a really tough time finding anything outside of the man pages for Wofie. It almost doesn't exist. It's almost like it's an abandoned project that just isn't even developed anymore. In order to find a theme, I actually copied some random repositories files that just so happen to have a catppuccin theme. So this is why Wofie looks good on my system. I just randomly copied someone's files for a Wofie config. Okay, but it looks nice, so great. Next on the list over here, I'm gonna try and just, I'll make a squiggly line right here. So this thing right here, this box that we see, right? This, what we're looking at right here, this is our file management application. For us in GNOME, I use the default, which is Nautilus, and Nautilus looks and works really well. But the only problem is that Nautilus is part of the GNOME Toolkit UI, right? It is a GTK application. And now I tried to install through AUR because I use Arch, by the way. Because I use Arch, I installed a catppuccin theme for Nautilus through the AUR, but it doesn't work that great. And if you look at the catppuccin repository that has theming for GTK apps, it's actually abandoned, right? The catppuccin theme for GTK apps has been abandoned because they specifically say it's too hard to theme GTK applications and all of their different permutations to get everything looking right all the time, that it was just too much work, and now they abandoned the repository. So catppuccin for GTK is abandoned. That's what you have there. And then right here, of course, is our terminal and our terminal prompt. Now, this is something that I've covered many different times before. Most people would have a decent terminal configuration, but just so you know, that's another tool and another configuration that you would need in order to have this nice coherent setup that we're looking at right here. And there's a couple of things that I haven't even mentioned, right? There's actually our desktop background. Now, our desktop background isn't something that you just very easily set in Hyprland. I mean, it's not that hard, but you have to install a program. I'm installing Hyperpaper for this. Hyperpaper requires you to have a small configuration, nothing crazy. In fact, I'll show it right here. So we open up our config, Hyperpaper configuration. We have to just preload a background and make sure we set that wallpaper for all of our desktops that are currently connected to this computer, whether it's the built-in desktop or whatever else. Now this is what sets our Hyper Paper background for this machine. Again, not that hard, but it's another tool you have to install. It does not come out of the box, and it's just another thing you have to keep in your head. The other thing that's really great and looks amazing on this machine, I'm actually kind of proud of myself, is our lock screen. Like, look at how awesome that looks. That looks beautiful, right? It just nicely fades out our background. Our background is still the same as it was before. It shows a nice little time at the top right there, and it has a little input field for me to enter my password. Well, this was actually a lot of work, and it is not that straightforward. If we look really quickly at our config for Hyperlock, which is the locking mechanism I just used, Hyperlock is actually a default configuration format, which is pretty good because it's basically the default. A lot of different configurations use the .conf extension. That makes sense, but it's just another thing you have to do, right? We can source a catppuccin theme right here, so we have access to our catppuccin colors, but this requires us to know all the different things that we can change the color of for this program, and there are a lot. Now, I just sort of copied the very basic sort of background that they have on the website for Hyperlock. I'll link that again below in the description, but this right here is, again, it's just another syntax you have to learn. It's another configuration file. I mean, down here, right, we have some kind of HTML stuff that we can use, but then we also have all of these things and all of these sort of attributes where we can set the colors on, and it's just a lot. Thankfully, they had a good example that I could copy and paste and just sort of like maneuver a couple colors around to sort of make it look like a catppuccin thing. But yeah, that's how you get this. It is just another configuration, another file you have to install, another program you have to install rather. It's just a lot of work. So without even considering tools like an idling system and managing your network, just to have a very basic, coherent and cohesive looking setup, you'll have to install and configure at least half a dozen tools, all with their own configurations, their own documentations, their own techniques for styling things, just to get something decent looking. I would even say that this is a fairly minimal config that I have here, but it just looks good. That's the effort you have to put in. Now, is this a bad thing? To be honest, I'm not sure. You see, part of the beauty of open source software is that one person can make an amazing program, like the creator of Sway NC, for example, and that program can have an insanely large distribution through package managers. The problem is, though, that there's no real set standard for configuration or styling, and therein lies the problem. It's great to have all these tools exist and all these amazing ideas to have a chance to succeed, but if you want something that looks even a little coherent, you have to do a lot of work and a lot of digging around. And you know, I think that's actually a disservice to niche Linux setups like this. If you want a tiling window manager setup in Linux, if you want to use the most popular tiling window manager right now, which I would think is Hyprland, I think this turns a lot of people off because it takes just so much work to get something decent looking. Now, I'm not done with this configuration, by the way. If you want to see me cover this configuration in more depth, then subscribe, and hey, thanks nerds.